Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you to TI-CREF and our conference. Earlier this month, the nation's first baby boomer, who was born 1 second after midnight on January 1, 1946, filed online for her Social Security retirement benefits. This boomer is leading what is often referred to as America's silver tsunami and the beginning of a monumental passing of the torch. Over the next 2 decades, it's estimated that nearly 80 million of the nation's most populous generation will leave the workplace, and new generations will begin to take their places in guiding our nation and our world into the future. Now, depending upon which side of the divide you're on, this could be either viewed as an unmitigated disaster or a breath of badly needed fresh air. As George Orwell put it, each generation imagines itself to be more intelligent than the one that went before it and wiser than the one that comes after it. We're entering a period when we will see the intermingling of 3 or even 4 distinct generations on our campuses, each with increasingly equal footing in terms of expectations, power, and influence. The sessions and conversations that will take place during this conference are part of a dialogue that's critically important at this time in our history. Leaders must consider how to meet the often divergent needs of millennials, Generation X, and boomers as they rethink strategies for effective institutional evolution. Now, it's probably a dangerous thing to overgeneralize the uniformity of these groups. After all, George Bush and Bill Clinton are both boomers. But there are common experiences and belief systems that define each generation, however differently individuals may respond to them. As the competition for faculty and students escalates, colleges and universities with a greater understanding of their workforce and their constituents will have an edge in attracting new recruits and strategically managing the retirement process to open up space for younger faculty. Understanding the trends, characteristics, preferences, and needs particular to different cohorts is also critical for TIAA-CREF. It's in our collective best interest that we study the higher education landscape in order to develop solutions and strategies that will help ensure the ongoing vitality and future success of our nation's colleges and universities. This is the underlying mission of the TIAA-CREF Institute, to build knowledge, support thought leadership, and enhance understanding of strategic issues regarding the business of higher education and lifelong financial security. Through research, publications, and forums like this conference, the Institute aims to support our partners in higher education and our business partners within TI-CREF with resources that inform critical decisions. Our goal for this conference is to spotlight new ideas and practices, facilitate discussion among leading thinkers, and foster relationships that will enhance our leadership in these exciting times. What we learn today and tomorrow will also be shared with a broader audience of higher education leaders in higher education, including a conference DVD and a summary report, as well as a conference volume that will be published next year. And these materials are all part of the TI-CREF Institute series on higher education, which includes many resources developed to support informed planning and decision-making. The conference includes sessions devoted to each of 3 distinct generations. We'll examine the attitudes, expectations, and needs of current and prospective students, young faculty, and faculty nearing retirement. Based on feedback received from past year's conference attendees, we've designed this year's program to include more opportunity for you to share your individual perspectives. This afternoon we'll move into breakout sessions for small group discussion, and there's going to be time built into every session for audience participation. I'd like for us to view this conference as a collaborative effort to help colleges and universities excel in our increasingly competitive global marketplace. Insights you share based on your leadership experiences can contribute significantly to our collective knowledge base. Another compass that can guide strategic plans for higher education is quantitative analysis of first-hand perspectives of faculty and university leaders. With that as motivation, the TI-CREF Institute has sponsored a series of surveys developed to provide deeper insights and actionable data to inform strategies and solutions. Findings from the most recent survey were released just yesterday. We titled that survey report, "Do Great Minds Think Alike? Faculty Perspectives on Career and Retirement," and learned that the answer to that question is not necessarily. The survey queried a national sample of faculty including both older and younger baby boomers and representatives of Generation X to see what differences and similarities exist among these groups regarding how they feel about their academic careers. To cite just a few interesting findings, the survey showed a marked increase among Generation Xers in citing research versus teaching as a key motivating factor for an academic career. And perhaps not so surprising, the survey revealed that salary is the area of least job satisfaction and that this holds across all generations. In light of this, it might be important for higher education to focus more attention on the value of total compensation. With respect to retirement, 74% of Generation X faculty survey indicated that they think they would be likely to take advantage of an early retirement buyout if it was offered in the future. That might be a topic for consideration in your recruiting efforts. So overall, our surveys underscore the need for academic leaders to understand generational differences and to look carefully at recruitment, financial incentives, and other existing academic practices in order to be competitive. A press release highlighting key findings of the Great Minds Survey was placed at your seats this morning, and a full report is available at our display area that was in the atrium where you had breakfast. Articles highlighting the survey findings also appeared in just this morning's Chronicle online edition and in Inside Higher Education. We have also made a number of other Institute research publications available if you're interested in taking them with you. So please do take the opportunity to stop by our exhibit area in the atrium. Now, before we begin today's program, I'd like to take a moment to extend some heartfelt thank yous. We are extremely fortunate to have speakers who all bring a wealth of expertise and a broad range of perspectives. We are very grateful for their participation. Over the course of many months of planning this conference, I have received generous counsel from Claire Van Umerson and Peter Eckel from the American Council on Education, and so I thank them. Many of our TI-CREF Institute fellows also provided input for our surveys, our books, and for this program itself. Several of them are here today, and I'd like to acknowledge Herman Berliner, Valerie Conley, Ron Ehrenberg, Jim Hearn, Peg Miller, Risa Palm, and Terry Sullivan. I also want to especially acknowledge the support and assistance provided by Bob Glidden, President Emeritus of Ohio University, who worked with us tirelessly to make this conference possible. And finally, thank you to my TIAA-CREF and Institute colleagues who contributed in so many ways. Now it's my great pleasure to introduce our opening speaker, William Strauss, partner of Life Course Associates, founder of the Capitol Steps satirical troupe, and a distinguished author, historian, playwright, and lecturer. Using a visionary blend of social science and history, Dr. Strauss will provide us with a backdrop that will aid our interpretation of national generational trends while giving us food for thought that will entertain and enlighten us. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. William Strauss.
Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you. Thank you. I am looking out over a room full of mostly baby boomers, as I can tell. And I wanted to let you know that about 3 months ago, I heard a news report which concerned me greatly about the millennial generation. It said that their social networking and their IMing and the texting and all the stuff that they're sending back and forth, that 1 out of every 10 involves sex or drugs. And I was really shocked because I remember back in the 60s, that in our forms of social networking, 1 out of every 10 did not involve sex or drugs. And I'm honestly concerned about whether our species will procreate if we don't do something about this millennial generation being so well behaved. But obviously the spin on the story was negative. Nearly every bit of positive data ends up with a negative spin somehow. It's just a fact of life that older people misunderstand and criticize younger people. They interpret as spoiled what is a very large dose of what is new. This particular saying was taken off